Hello and welcome to the Conservative Poet with me, Amanya. So glad that you are here today. If this is your first time stopping by, I welcome you and I thank you for the visit. So, today we're going to have a conversation about school choice. Now, my last video was about school choice, and I was in Tallahassee for a subcommittee meeting. Well, there was a couple of them, but I want to talk about the last one that I was at, which was school choice House Bill 1. And on that committee, the bill passed, but not without a lot of pushback. And so the one that gave a lot of pushback, well, there was two that gave a lot of pushback, but I'm going to focus on Lavon Bracy Davis because she just happens to be right in my neck of the woods. And so I'm going to be playing a clip in a little while about Representative Daniels, who is in Jacksonville. Now, she's a Democrat, but she has some common sense, this one, at least on this bill. I don't know what her whole history is in reference to all of this, but I do know that she made a lot of sense in reference to this bill. And then right after her was Representative Lavon Bracy Davis, who also made her points. So I want to talk a little bit about that, and I will play the clip in a while. But if you are interested in seeing this video and how that all goes, well, then stay tuned. So for this video, I'm going to focus on sort of the closing argument, so to speak, where the representatives all give their 2 cents on the bill, their final thoughts on the bill, and why they're voting yes or why they're voting no, which you'll see here. So we're going to only focus on Daniels and Representative Bracy Davis. So Bracy Davis voted no on this bill. Shocker. Matter of fact, come to think of it, when her brother, what's his name again? Gosh, I can't think of it. Well, anyway, when her brother was probably in the same seat or in the Senate and the legislature, he also voted no on school choice, just to let you all know that. He did vote no. He did not represent school choice. He did not vote for it. So it runs in the family. Voting no, voting against Pine Hills, voting no against their constituents is nothing new for the Bracy family. That was a rant. Anyway, let's move on. So we're going to see this now. And I wanted to play this clip because I really think it shows the difference in the way people think, at least in the way their politics are. One is saying, I support this because it's a benefit to my constituents. And I see the benefit, and it's been helping, and it's growing, and it's opening up the eyes of the community, the children, broadening their horizons. And then on the other one, the other representative is worried about not the children, not the school, not the children or the parents or the constituents, but they are worried more about the fundamental, the institution of the school. They're worried about OCPS, the publics. They're worried about the public schools and not the children, not the individual. So I wanted to just look into that a little bit. So without further me talking about this, I'm going to play the clip so you can see the two of them and their points of view. So I'm going to let that roll and I'll be back.
Daniels, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. First of all, I want to thank Vice Chair Tuck for reaching out and for her great leadership on this bill. I had the opportunity to bring 60 middle school students from my district to the Capitol a few weeks ago. Out of 60 students, 50 of them had never been out of my city. They were all AB students. Most of them live in the trailer parks and the low-income area around the school that they attend. but the scholarships that we're discussing made this possible. I've never seen children so happy in my life to be able to get that kind of education. My prayer is that we can get the right message out, the right messaging, because I'm hearing so many different things and there are a lot of rumors, but I do not believe that the bill that we're passing today will take money from public schools, or I would not support it. So I have one of the largest communities of families that are benefiting from these vouchers. You heard the testimony from Raylan Hardwick from Duval County. And I just want to say vouchers are working in my district, and we want to keep it working. And I'm proud to support this bill because I think that it would change the lives of so many young people. And, you know, I just really don't take it personal. I'm hearing, and I heard one of the reps say no one called her or contacted her and said to support this bill. Where's the other situation? And it's just like choice schools. The money follows the students, and students learn differently. And I just believe that there are some changes. There's some editing. There's some moving around that we need to do with this bill. But right now, I'm up on this bill, and I'm not ashamed to support it. I'm proud to support this bill, and bills like this in the future. Thank you.
Rep. Bracy Davis, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I echo the sentiments of my colleague. Heartfelt thank you to Vice Chair Tuck. She too came by my office and we discussed the intricacies of this bill, and that is much appreciated. So thank you for that, and thank you to all of you. I am a freshman, and this is the largest committee meeting that I have attended with so many attendees. So I'm thankful for both perspectives and those of you that are here and being a part of this process. So thank you for your presence. Let's really briefly talk Constitution. According to the Florida Constitution, Article 9, Section 1, in part, it reads that it is therefore the paramount duty of the state to make adequate provision for the education of all children residing within its borders. Adequate provision shall be made by law for uniform, efficient, safe, secure, and high-quality system of free public schools. Colleagues, what troubles me about this legislation is it lacks equity. I really wish that we were talking today about fully funding education, period. Public and private. The same way we advocate for private education, I really wish we were advocating just as hard for public education. Because this should not be a conversation about the haves and the have-nots. It should not be a conversation about a tale of two cities, a tale of two entities, and a tale of two systems. So here's my issue. Here's why I am respectfully voting down on this bill. Some private schools can take advantage of our public dollars, while our public schools face overcrowding, lack of resources, and unprecedented teacher shortage. And remember, our responsibility is free public schools based on the Constitution. Some can take advantage of our public dollars and still engage in controversial, as already been mentioned, discriminatory practices like telling children that they have to cut their hair or cut their locks because it didn't align with their standards. Some can take advantage of our public dollars and not abide by the regulations and teacher certifications that our public schools are mandated to follow. And let me ask you this, perhaps my biggest issue with the bill. Why should billionaires be eligible for vouchers? Another question. Why don't teachers at private schools have to have the educational credentials and qualifications that public school teachers do? What about our students that have disabilities? Those students who are being discriminated against and turned away because of their disability.
Rep. Bracy Davis, if you mind bringing it in for a landing so
Yes,
we can
ma'am.
give the bill sponsor a chance to close.
Are our LGBTQ students going to be unconditionally accepted and welcomed in these private schools? I am of the belief that if you are going to get state of Florida money, you need to follow state of Florida standards. Thank you, Madam
Thank you.
Chair.
Rep. Dunkley, you're recognized.
Thank you.
Okay, so you've seen and you heard. So what I'd like to go over now is just a couple of points that I'd like to make. So Duval County, Jacksonville area. Now, I'm not sure which area Representative Daniels is in. I don't know Jacksonville very well. I've been there a couple of times, and I do know that they have some really, really impoverished, low income, very, very terrible areas, which brought me to Pine Hills, which is an area that is very impoverished, very low income. It is diverse. And so how is it that Representative Daniels see the benefit? And she did mention that her people are low income people as well. So we're talking similar situations, similar areas, right? So how is it that one sees the benefit of the school's choice option for their constituents and then another one doesn't? So Lavon Bracy Davis mentioned a couple of things, but before we get into that, I made some notes here and I want to just talk a little bit about them. So the program would benefit those people, but it won't benefit the people in Pine Hills, but yet same demographics, same setup, right? Right. And Representative Daniels talked about rumors that that happened or that she's heard in reference to this. Now that woman is a Democrat. They're both Democrats, okay? But for some reason, she's got a little bit more understanding of what is best for her constituents, and she's willing to do that. She's willing to go against the herd, is what she said. Well, she didn't say that. Those are my words. She's willing to go against the herd. She supports this bill. She's proud to represent her people, and she's proud to sponsor. She's proud to vote yes on this bill because it's something that her constituents need, especially those kids in her county. And she mentioned one of the representatives stating that that nobody has ever reached out to her in her district to say vote yes on this bill, which we all know is probably not true, because Representative Daniels stated that her county, a majority of her students is benefiting from this, which means anybody in any kind of impoverished area would be benefiting from this. So I'm not talking about her in this video. We're talking about Bracy, but Representative Daniels, that's what she was talking about when she said, a representative said that nobody has reached out, because that's BS. That's BS. Maybe she doesn't know her constituents. Maybe she's not involved. Representative Daniels seems to be aware and very involved in her area, and she knows her people and what they want. So, yeah. So I wanted to make that point. And she also said that it's going to change the lives of her students. She talked about, them taking that visit out to Tallahassee. They'd never left the area. You know what I'm saying? They've never left the area. So going to Tallahassee, that was a benefit. And I hope they made it through the museum and got to see the history of Florida, because it's a great museum. You learn so much. So I hope her students or her constituent kids was able to take a look at that and take advantage of being in the Capitol. Now, I wonder if Bracy Davis would do that for her kids in Pine Hills, who's never left Pine Hills, who's never left the area. You think she'd do that for them? I don't know. But in any event, we're going to move on. And I also wanted to say, like Lavon Bracy Davis, she's an attorney, and I'm wondering if her parents sent her to a public school, or did she benefit from the benefits of the private school sector? Lavon Bracy Davis, did you get your education from the private sector, from the private schools, and now you don't want other children to benefit? Because look at where you are in your life. You're an attorney, college graduate, married, and now you're in the legislature. I mean, you're winning all the way through. Did you get your education from the public schools? Or are you benefiting from private schools? And what about your brother? Did he benefit from the private schools too? Because his life is flourishing as well. But how is it that it's good for you, the goose, but not good for the constituents in Pine Hills, the gander? Why is it good for you and not for them? We're going to move on. Also, Davis was talking about equity. So AKA free education, AKA equity, diversion, and inclusion. How does it go? Equity, inclusion, and equity, inclusion, and diversity. Equity, diversity, and inclusion. That's what she's advocating for. And so I would have to say, if you saw my last video in reference to the school choice meeting that happened on January 26th, where I talked about, as a matter of fact, Angie Nixon, who is also from Jacksonville, who voted no in that meeting, but yet Miss Representative Daniels voted up. Now, Nixon had the same arguments as Bracy Davis did, as she did there. Oh, they want us to cut off our locks. Oh, they don't accept blacks or race, whatever she said. But that's AKA they don't accept blacks. So the whole bottom line of this bill is to have options to send your kid to whatever school you want them to go to. So if there's a school that says, no, we don't accept you, this is the uniform standard that we want. If you don't like it, then you can go to a different school. Options. And the school won't get any public funds from that for that child. That child will go to another school and the money will follow the child. And that is the whole premise of this bill, is that the money follows the individual child from whatever school they go to, whether it be public, private, homeschool, whatever that looks like. The money follows the child. And that is the bottom line. And so Lavon Bracy Davis doesn't seem to understand that, because she's fighting for the institutions. She's fighting for the Board of Ed. She's fighting for Orange County Public Schools. That's who she's fighting for, not the individual child and whatever is best for that child. It could be whatever school it is. Children learn differently. Everybody has a different learning habit, and they give them options. If public school don't work for you, go to a charter. Charter don't work, go to a private. Private don't work, homeschool. Whatever that option is. And that's what this is. And so I'm going to wrap this video up at this point. I think I kind of hit all of the points that I wanted to make in this. And so I thank you all for watching. I'm going to say goodbye for now. Thank you again. And I will see you in the next video. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the channel. I'm happy that you come by. Thank you again. And I'll see you again. Bye-bye. And by the way, we've got a whole lot of souls to save, starting with the Florida legislatures.